What's up, everyone? Today we have a quick little update to the meta snapshot on bunnymuffins.lol because right now there's just one comp that you should be playing, and it's the veteran mentor Janna comp. There are other comps out there. I'm gonna go over 11 of them with you today, so the Janna and 10 others. But if you're ever uncontested, definitely just go for this Janna comp because it really is that strong right now. We're going to go over all the conditions of when to go a comp, when not to, because obviously if you're doing TFT best practices, you should not be going the same comp every single game. Like, you can go a bunch of times, but not literally every single time. So I'm going to tell you when to go for each and one of the S and A tier comps. But apart from that, we have Katarina, Bastion, Kog'Maw, Crystal, Gambit, Malzahar. This is a pretty high skill cap comp. We're going to go over how to play that. Executioner, Akali, Mighty Mech, Mentor, Ryze, Volibear, Bastion Yasuo. I personally love Bastion Yasuo so much. Malzahar Heavyweight, Star Guardian, and Soul Fighter. Everything else, I mean, you're free to play it, but I recommend sticking to the S and A tier for now. So let's just get right into it. So starting at the top, we have Veteran Mentor Janna. Very simple, just 2-cost reroll. Go for the Veteran power up on Janna. Items don't really matter too much apart from Blue Buff and Jeweled Gauntlet. And ideally, you have enough econ to find Kabuko 3 or Janna 3 by stage 4 or sometime during stage 4, because that means you're either going the comp when you have a lot of Jannas and Kabukos, or you're doing it if you have like Heroic Grab Bag, Pandora's Bench, Prismatic Ticket, something that gets you a lot of rerolls in order to hit both of them to 3-star. I haven't seen it before, but you could also maybe get them from Exalted Adventure. Like, I personally haven't seen it, but that would be a crazy combo, right? If you get both of them as your conditions, that'd be awesome. If you do get lucky like that, let me know down in the comments or in the Discord and kind of just share it with the class. But to play this comp, you just need 4 Mentor. So that's Kabuko, Udyr, and Ryze. You could use Yasuo before you hit Ryze, and then Janna is going to be your 4th Mentor with the Veteran power-up. The other power-up user is going to be Kabuko. I like Best Defense. If you do Best Defense, build these shield items. That's going to be the way to go. And if you do not have Best Defense, if you have some of the other ones, just build any regular tank items on Kabuko. Not that the ones here are bad, they're just items that work especially well with Best Defense. Leftover items on Ryze or Jarvan, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You just fill in the rest of your traits randomly, so you could add in Mighty Mech. That way you get Heavyweight and Juggernaut from Aatrox with Udyr and Kabuko. Jarvan gives you Strategist with Ryze, and then Senna gives you Mighty Mech and the Executioner for Ryze, so all good stuff there. Janna herself, she's going to be a Strategist. That's what you're primarily buffing her up with, and then you could add in a Cassante. He's also a Protector to complement your Janna, and he's just a good unit in general too. If you get extra unit slots, you could play something like Xayah, or you could play more Strategists. But pretty solid comp. It works especially well if you get Artifact or Radiant items. That's what we mean by good item quality over here. And if we take a look at the items for 3-star Janna, you could do stuff like Mana Zane's really good, Dawncore's decent, Deathfire's good. Pretty much any AP one is going to work fine on her. Like, obviously, Mana Zane's going to be the best, but pretty much anything that gives ability power is going to be usable. You could also put tank items onto Kabuko. That's going to be really powerful for you as well. Kabuko, Event Horizon is going to be his favorite because he's able to just stun people very often with his 4 Mentor buff. And when you stun people, you deal extra damage with this little Horizon focus. But any of the tank ones will do on him. Pretty straightforward comp, so yeah, just 2-cost reroll there. Next build up we have is the Katarina reroll. This is another 2-cost comp. You know what they say, when it rains it pours, so when one 2-cost reroll is good, a different one also becomes good, even if it wasn't that great to begin with. But because there are a bunch of other 2-cost reroll comps, like we'll go over some of the other ones later, Katarina and Rakan as a combo works out pretty decently. The only thing I don't like about Katarina is that she works really, 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 really well with Radiant or Artifact items. Like the Janna comp, you could use it, it's nice, but it's not like make or break. But for Katarina, I think it is because she just uses them so well. Because she's kind of the only unit you care about in this comp, whereas in the Mentor version, you care about all the Mentors. But in this build, you just go as many Battle Academia as you can, power up on Katarina and Rakan. You prefer one of the scaling power-ups on Katarina, but if you don't get one of these, it's not the end of the world. I would use an early reroll to try to get it though. And then for Rakan, Unstoppable is pretty mandatory because of the way he works. He'll dash to the back, Katarina follows up, and then it increases the chance that she jumps to the backline randomly. So that's why you want Unstoppable with the Katarina. For positioning, you could do the Moses positioning, but just swap sides depending on where their carries are. You want to be on same side, that way Rakan dashes to the front, and then Katarina can walk forward and potentially kill their carry really, really early into the fight. For augments, Radiant items and vertical augments are going to be good, so stuff like Climb the Ladder is pretty nice. because you're running 7 Battle Academia, it kind of buffs up everyone else. Radiant Hand of Justice, you just pretty much win the game. Zhonya's Hourglass, if you get that from Artifact, also auto wins the game because it saves you an item slot for the Edge of Night. It's just strictly better because it's the AP version of it, but it's only gettable from the Artifact items. But yeah, I wouldn't play this comp just hard forcing it unless I start the game with Katarina 2-star with a good power-up. But I would go for this if I pop a Radiant or Artifact item early and just go for it and hard force it after I get one of those signs. But yeah, very easy comp, just 2-cost reroll there. Next one up we have is Artifact Bastion Kog'Maw. This one you only play with artifacts. It's a 3-cost reroll comp this time, and yeah, Artifact very good. You could use, like, I think we did the math on it last time. I think it was 6 of them. Wait, I have it listed out here on the website. Check that out and share with your friends because that's one of the easiest ways to get better at TFT. I did a lot of coaching throughout the years for like 5 years now, and a lot of common mistakes is sometimes people just don't copy the comps correctly, and it's something that I think there's no excuse not to do. That's why going to bunnymuffins.lol is very important. But Static Shiv is absolutely devastating. Flicker Blade, absolutely devastating as well. Just replace your Rage Blade when you get that. Dawn Core, really good for mana. Lichbane, just good for damage because he casts so often. And then Wit's End, solid. Gambler's Blade, you just get infinite gold glitch because Kog'Maw attacks so quickly with his spell because every time he casts, like, he gets scaling throughout the fight, so you just get infinite gold with Gambler's Blade, so it's kind of fun there. You can get it through either the Shimmer Scale augments or the Artifact augments, both work. But 3-cost reroll this comp up, play all the Bastion units, Swain main tank, you don't really care about any of the other units, they're just there for fun. Shen is good because he gives Edgelord to both himself and Yasuo is a good secondary carry if you get a bunch of extra items, which you should in this comp, because normally in a TFT game you get enough items to itemize a main tank and a main carry, but since you're picking up artifact items along the way, ideally at least, you often get a bunch of extra items to get Yasuo itemed up as well. But don't focus too much on Yasuo items, like don't slam any of his items early. You just want to focus on the Swain and Kog'Maw for most of the game, and then once you get Yasuo to 3-star, then you can focus on him after that. Power-ups is Fairy Tail or Caretakers, both are very fine to take. Some people like one more than the other, but it really doesn't matter that much, just take either or. Swain, any tank one will do. You just need to make sure you get at least one of these two for Kog'Maw. But I personally only play this with artifacts, but if you get a super good start for it, you can play it without it, but again, I highly recommend doing it with. Next one up, we have the new comp, Crystal Gambit Malzahar. So this one's a little weird. You need to get the Crystal Gambit emblem or an early Ashe in order to make this work, because you need to get to 5 Crystal Gambit as fast as possible and try to snowball with it. So this comp is best played when you have 5 Crystal Gambit on 3-2. Does not happen that often, but I have to point it out there as one of the options, because when you do that, you're able to farm your rewards early for killing units. So you roll down aggressively on 3-2. And by the way, sorry, before I get into this is a pretty difficult comp to execute, so if you're a beginner, it's good to know about this comp, but maybe think twice before going this unless you have like a super duper 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 good start. But yeah, you roll aggressively on 3-2 to ensure you have 5 Crystal Gambit and a strong board to farm efficiently. And then ideally, you win a lot in stage 3, because it's hard to farm in stage 4 because everyone rolls down in like stage 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, things like that. So you want to get as many rewards as you can early. And sometimes if you get lucky, you could get the reward that gives you 2 lesser duplicators, which can accelerate your spike for Malzahar and Swain 3. For power-ups, you want Mage on Malzahar. That's because this is a bit of a faster fight. In other versions of Malzahar, you want Noxious Trap, but in this version, people go Mage. And then any tank on Swain, go for 3-item Malzahar, 3-item Swain, obviously, like blue buff JG, any 3rd item, generic tank items on Swain, and then Ashe, Rageblade Kraken plus 3rd item. Doesn't really matter. If you do end up getting more levels, you could either play more Crystal Gambit units, or you can play random legendaries. Either of those work. Honestly, if you get that late in the game, you probably won already. But yeah, get these to 3-star, spike again, keep farming the 5 Crystal Gambit cashouts, and that's kind of how this comp works. But again, you need to get Crystal Gambit 5 on 3-2. I know it's rare, but like it is a thing that happens sometimes, and if it does happen, try to take advantage of it. Next build up, we have the Executioner Akali build. This is just like the best in slot build, the Pandora's Items build, but it is one of the first level 8 comps that we are looking at today. So if you like Fast 8, this is going to be the comp for you. It revolves around Akali, Ryze, and K'Sante. So I'd focus mainly on the K'Sante and Akali first, and then Ryze later on. Ryze is kind of your utility unit, but Akali, you just do Quicksilver, Nashers, get a bunch of crit, She casts a lot, and then she de-aggroes a lot, hits a lot of carries, and then eventually she kills everything. Like, it's going to take her a little bit of time. She's not going to one-tap everything first fight. I mean, sometimes she does, but more often than not she doesn't. But eventually she will, and that's kind of why you do this infinite casting build on her. K'Sante main tank. Literally any of the tank ones will do, but Tankzilla is kind of nice. The fights are a bit long. Crimson Veil is kind of nice also because it allows her to sustain. And yeah, try to scout. I went over positioning for Akali before. Like, the basic positioning, if you had to do like a 5-second guide on positioning, if their carry is over here, top left, put her here. If their carry is top right, put her here. That's all there is to it. There are weird ways to trick her out, but like as a 5-second guide, that's going to be the way to do it for like 99% of your games. Like, I highly doubt anyone below like Challenger is going to be doing the min-max Akali strats, but if they are, let me know and I'll cover that in a future video. But just follow the fast 8 leveling pattern. You ideally want to win streak a little bit and then get enough gold to roll down for all your 4-cost units. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 4-cost units. That's a lot. You need to get there, and it's kind of difficult too. So you need a lot of gold when you play this. So either win streak or have an econ augment and do win-lose so that you're not too low HP. So by the time you get to 4-1, 4-2, you could do your roll down and survive. Oh, by the way, this is a low roll farmer comp. It's really good against weaker teams. So if a lot of people haven't hit their comp yet, this comp just does even better. But next build up we have is a Mighty Mech build. I like this build a lot because it kind of just is fun to go Mighty Mech. I always like the summonable units. That's kind of my main draw about this comp. But the way I like to play it is by doing the Mech Pilot version. You do Lucian and Senna Mech Pilot, and then they go big or go home in case you lose, but ideally they go big. And yeah, Ionic Spark works on the mech, so that's why you like building it on Senna, because they combine into it and then they pop out. And one thing to note about the power-ups is that Mech Pilot is guaranteed after seeing the first one, so you're able to force this build with the power-up refreshes pretty often. One other little tech with this comp is that having upgraded units is super important. I know it's important in every team comp, but especially in the Mighty Mech comp, because the Mighty Mech scales off of your unit's star level. So you know how sometimes when we're playing, let's say, this comp, for example, if we had power up on Aatrox or Kennen from the early game, sometimes we don't use the remover on them, right? We just sell them and buy a new Kennen in our shop at 1 star. So that's perfectly fine to do in like 99% of cases in the Executioner Akali comp, but when you're playing the Mighty Mech comp, do not sell stuff like your Aatrox and Lucian to try to refresh a power up without using a remover, because you absolutely need Lucian 2 stars. So the reason why is because the mech scales off a star level, so you just don't want to sell 2 stars almost ever if they are a Mighty Mech unit. Just use a remover on them, use a power-up remover, whatever you need to do to get that done, and yeah, I'd say that's like the one quick tip for this comp. After that, focus damage items on Karma. If you have leftovers, throw them on Jarvan. And that's pretty much it. Like, super leftovers can be on Yone, and especially if he's 2-star. This comp is really hard because you need to get Yone 2-star. Like, the difference between finding Yone and not finding Yone are like astronomical. If we type in Mech here, you'll see that 5 Mighty Mech, 6.0 almost, and 7 Mighty Mech, 3.89. Holy cow. Like, you really just need to find Yone. And there's no emblem that can make you get to 7 Mighty Mech either. So you literally have to find a legendary unit. That means if he's on Carousel and you can take him, just go right to him. You don't care if he has the worst item in the game for your team comp. You just need him to get to 7 Mighty Mech. Next build up we have is Mentor, Ryze, Volibear. A couple of Mentor comps in this patch, right? But this one focuses on 1 melee carry, 1 range carry. Normally in the super late game, that's a really good combo to have. That's what I've noticed in this set. Either you do like a tank and carry as your power-ups, but in the super late game, I tend to find that the melee carry, range carry power-up comps do the best. Just because they have the most power, right? Because TFT is a game about damage after all, or like scaling your damage dealer at least. So that's kind of why it works out that way. But yeah, for item builds on Volibear, just Infinity Edge plus almost anything. Preferred Sterex and Guardbreaker. Ryze can be anything almost. I know it might seem a little bit troll, but for Ryze, Jeweled Gauntlet actually performs pretty decently. But the thing about Ryze is that he pretty much can build anything from what I've noticed. It doesn't really change his average placements that much if you build whatever. For Volibear, it's going to be the IE Sterex and Guardbreaker, as we said before. Lee Sin, leftover items, Jarvan, all the mana items, and whatever tank items you build to snowball in the early game. And yeah, just do fast 8, fast 9. You need strong tempo for this game, ideally from a mech opener. And yeah, hitting Ryze 2 is the make or break of this comp. Same with Volibear 2. And for power-ups, you want like Efficient on Ryze is really nice. Icebender's good. If you have Icebender, I like having Archangel Staff. And then for Volibear, Serious Slam and Unflinching is good. Always try to keep them next to each other so that they focus the same unit, because the way to play this comp is you want to abuse the reset mechanic from Volibear, so you absolutely need to focus fire in this build. Next build up we have is Bastion Yasuo. Only play this with plus range or Bastion Emblem. Bastion Emblem you have to build with the spatula, so you cannot get it from a augment anymore. But plus range probably is a bit more fun, a bit more reliable in my opinion, but both are definitely possible. After that, just do a simple 3-cost reroll. Nothing really has changed that much from last week. If he's melee, you want Windwall with the Bastion Emblem. If he's range with like Sniper's Focus, you want Hemorrhage, and then Swain, pretty much any tank item or tank power up, and then utility items on your Leona. 4 Edgelord if you can. If you only have 2, that's fine also, until you could get to 4. And then before you get Braum, you could play literally any other Bastion. You could do stuff like Garen or Xin Zhao, whoever. But that's pretty much all you need for this. It's like 3-cost reroll, very easy to play, and Windwall is super duper duper OP when they added it, so I really like it personally. Next build up we have is Malzahar Heavyweights. This is the regular Malzahar build, I would say. And obviously you need to be uncontested. You can't have other people go on Malzahar when you do this. This goes for like pretty much every reroll comp. Like you pretty much can't be contested. Maybe for Janna you could get away with it because the other guy might die and then you could finish your 3 stars after that. But if you are contested, you either have to pivot or hope the other person pivots. So when should you pivot? If the other person has a better spot than you, or if the other person has a lot of reroll augments or like more copies of the units, that's when you should pivot. The times when you should not pivot is when you have the reroll augments, because ideally that means on average you're gonna hit a lot earlier than them, you know? So you shouldn't be scared to go for a reroll comp just because you're contested if you have a better spot for it, because in the long run it should be better for you. But maybe in that immediate game it might not feel that way, but that's okay. You just have to trust the process. But for this comp, it's another 3-cost reroll. Malzahar with blue buff, Jeweled Gauntlet, 3rd item, I don't think matters that much. Blighting Jewel is insane OP, and then you want the Noxious Trap and power up on Malzahar. On Darius, he could go for like the 2x KO one. Not Done Yet is really good if you get it early. It's kind of hard to do that one, but they did buff it. And then, yeah, just IE 2 bruiser items on him, and then throw the rest of your tank items onto Poppy. Focus on the damage dealer items in this build though, because you just want to build the tank items last as your leftovers. It's pretty easy to find all these Poppy items. Like you don't need exact Poppy items. You could use Crown Guard for all I care, right? Like obviously Crown Guard's one of the worst tank items for her, but it doesn't matter. You just need any 3 tank items to make her work. Well, caveat on the Crown Guard thing, it's really good when you have best defense to Poppy, but the thing is we're not playing best defense Poppy right now. We're playing regular Poppy without any power-ups, so you just throw anything you can on her, because we're putting our power-ups on Darius and Malzahar. But yeah, 3-cost reroll. If you get Jayce, like you could 3-star him, but you don't really care about him, so don't fall for the Jayce bait. You need to save all your gold that you can to get both your 3-cost carries itemized. To get both your 3-cost carries 3-starred, because it's very expensive to play 3-cost reroll. Next build up we have is going to be Star Guardians. Still viable, just not as strong as before. You just go 7 now. You don't need to go 8 or 9. Best one done with a Star Guardian emblem, or if you have quality over quantity. I probably would not play this otherwise. Buried Treasures is another good sign to go for this comp, or Little Buddies. So unless you have one of those, I'd kind of stay clear from this comp. But if you do meet one of those conditions, it is very easy to play. It's just standard fast 8, Poppy, tank items, Jinx, damage items, and then here you do the best defense Poppy where you go for Crown Guard and it's really, really good. Sterix, Winter's Vow, they all give shielding, so that's why it's really nice with best defense. And then throw utility items on Xayah and yeah, all your damage items onto Jinx. Thieves Glove is really good on Seraphine because she uses every stat. And yeah, very simple comp to play. Really good with a ton of items. I have a big gameplay video over here, so check that out if you have not already. Next build up we have is Soul Fighter, Samira, and Gwen. This is, I believe, the last comp we're going to go over today. So this comp has very similar requirements to the Star Guardian comp. It's just one of those vertical comps where you just go really deep into a trait. That's what vertical means. I do have a TFT dictionary on the website if you are looking for like what certain terms mean. This has pretty much all of them, just like Control F for whatever you need to look for. For example, like angle means like this is the act of looking towards a certain line. Line meaning kind of like going AD or AP or leaning this comp, leaning that comp, stuff like that. But yeah, this dictionary or whatever has like a lot of random stuff that might explain some TFT lingo. I try not to use TFT lingo, but sometimes it slips. So there's always that, or you could always just ask me questions in the comments. Just make sure to timestamp if I am saying something crazy, because it should kind of help me clarify everything. But yeah, this build you want to play when you're going a vertical comp. Little Buddies is really good for that. One of the emblems is really good for that. The literal trait augment, what's it called? Like tournament favorites is really good for that. That's like one of the primary ways I would go about playing this. And the tricky part about this comp is that you need a lot of gloves to make it work because it builds Samira's best items, gloves and swords. So you pretty much need the Shojin, you need the IE, and then the third best item is going to be the Guard Breaker. Like you don't need the Guard Breaker, but you pretty much need IE and Shojin, in my opinion. Maybe not the Shojin so much, but definitely IE. She needs some way to crit, and you need to run Edgelord with this build. So you run as many Soul Fighters as you can as all times, and then once you get Samira, just make sure you're running 2 Edgelord. That could be either like Yasuo, could be Xayah, could even be a Shen. Shen works out pretty decently because he gives you Bastion with Xin Zhao in the early game. So you could just run that in your stage 4, and then later on you could replace it with either Volibear or Yone. Volibear is a really good user of the emblem. Well, pretty much any of the expensive units are. Yone, Braum, Volibear can all use it. And then for power-ups, just focus up on Samira and Set. And then once you get 2-star Gwen, or if your Gwen even at 1 star is popping off, you could switch the power-up onto her. But yeah, pretty simple comp. Just play all the Soul Fighter units, add it to your team planner. You can get team planner codes by clicking into here and clicking this to copy, and then paste it into your team planner. But those are the main comps I want to go over today. Those were 11. Just to summarize up top, like if you can, if it's uncontested or you get some artifact item goofiness, definitely go for Veteran Janna because it's like really, really good. It's just by far the best comp right now. If you get any of the other artifact checks, you could go for Katarina, Kog'Maw, or Malzahar, or the Bastion Yasuo. Like artifacts are just really good. And then if you're feeling a little frisky, go for the Crystal Gambit build if you get the chance for it. It's a little hard to play, just a fair warning. So I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people that are going to try it, and then, I mean, I wish the best, but it might not work out the way you want. So player beware, or whatever you want to say. Like it takes a lot of weird decisions to make it work, and it doesn't play like any of the other comps we played in the past. So that's why I have that disclaimer out there for that comp. But if you want to have fun, try it, because you will get a lot of loot if you pull it off. But that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. New patch is coming out on Wednesday next week, so I'll be sure to update everyone on that. But let me know what type of videos you guys want to see for the rest of the set, and also what you'd like to see differently in the future sets. But that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.